be a very interesting stream tonight. It really is. So, but we're gonna get right to it. We're not gonna waste any time. Let's see. We are primarily gonna be focusing on the ending of Mercury Lighthouse. So it's just primarily gonna be Isaac versus Satoros. We'll do one rewatch and we'll see where we're gonna go from there. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing any Aseprite work, but we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. I probably will. I'm gonna give myself at least 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. All right. So as usual, before I forget, remember, 16,000 frames is the limit Adobe Animate gives you. So you have to be very wary of the frames that you have available at your disposal. We're close to 12,000 frames right now, so we have about 4,000 frames left. A little bit above 4,000, so we still got plenty of room to work. But if you're gonna be taking up a project like this, just make sure you plan ahead. Just know that you are limited in what you can and cannot do. We're just gonna do one rewatch because I'm not trying to waste any time tonight. It's already pretty late. In the next few days, I'm gonna be polishing up the scenes a little bit. And again, these test washes are important because Adobe Animate has a very bad habit of moving keyframes around. So you have to be very careful. So watch your work. You just never know. You don't want to export a video and have keyframes all over the place. For example, that aura might show up, this specific aura might show up right in the middle of this if you're not careful. And as I mentioned before, later on, we're going to slow that down a little bit. I might add a little tiny clash on that. When she lands, we have to shake the screen a little bit. Over here, definitely needs screen shaking. It's still gonna look very, very rough, which is fine. Like we're nowhere near done. We still have at least 2 more weeks left of this, at least on DaVinci Resolve. Okay, perfect. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to I don't want to use Kai's effects. We're going to go through my personal... Well, we're going to go through the secondary effects. If I can't get the effect that I need, we're going to go through my own personal effects. And I honestly think No, let's go to Kaya first. I really don't like using it because it's been progressively getting worse and worse, but we'll see. The sun. Assets. If it takes too long, we'll definitely do something else. Actually, while we wait for that to load up, let's get Aseprite loaded up just in case. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of Aseprite while I wait for things to load up. So as usual, I do it 128 by 128. Because I've actually been neglecting work. So you have to be in the right state of mind to be doing Aseprite. If you're doing it on a very long day, you're gonna be in for a rough ride. Because Aseprite, it's a lot of trial and error. There's been plenty of nights where I just got super salty. So while I wait for that to load up, I have to finish working on Mia's sprite. Mia has a lot of sprites because her sprite's very complex. Okay, let's see. Do I actually have that? We'll work on her dash. If I can find it. Okay. Just to make sure this is the right one. So it has to be the other side. Okay. False alarm. Oh, kick. We'll do kick first. So this wind up. This should be fairly easy, but we need to start working on this section. Okay. Honestly, we just... No. Okay. Sometimes you have to be careful because Adobe Animate, not Adobe Animate, Aseprite likes acting up. So I'm probably gonna have to do that again. Yeah. Yeah, it's just gonna be erasing. Sometimes that does happen. The only remedy is literally just open it up and go from start from scratch again. So bear with me. We're gonna work on that, and we're gonna do other stuff. So what was going on over there? Even with the drawing tool, it was being an eraser. So we just have to close it and open back up again. New 128 by 128. So like we were trying to do. Use this. We'll use this as a point of reference. We'll get her kick. It's gonna be kick wind up. All right. Hopefully this doesn't act up again, which it still is acting up. Fuck it. All right. So we got to do the other way. Normally, Aseprite does like cooperating, but tonight is a night is not cooperating. I'll tell you exactly why it's not cooperating. So normally, when you click the pencil tool, it should be a pencil, but it's not being a pencil. So I might have to just reinstall and install it again. Not a big deal. But what we're gonna do, that's fine. Mia PNG. Always save it as a PNG file. See, the only problem with Aseprite acting up tonight is I won't be able to draw her hair. So it's gonna be, we'll do what we can, but this does kind of suck, but it is what it is. Oh, wow. I gotta rename that. Give me a second. This has to be long. There we go. Perfect. All right, that's all set. Get rid of this. Don't save. Now bring the next one. Before we do that, 128 by 128. We're doing it 128 by 128 because that gives you plenty of space to work. All right. So the only issue with this is her hair. So we're gonna grab this. We're gonna copy it. We're gonna try to make some magic happen. And I actually do have something that might work, but we'll see. I'm just curious. Copy. It might work. I think we got something. Yeah, we do. This will work. So we just gotta fix the cape. No, we don't. What we can do, we can do this right. We can bring this down here. Get rid of layers 1 cape. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. So the only issue we ran into today is Aseprite not cooperating with us. Because normally I'll just draw everything out, but today it's gonna be a very weird stream. Also, it's been 15 minutes already. I need determination. And we're gonna get determination. Like I said, the only problem is I would normally draw, but can't really do that at all. I'm fine with it because again, she's just doing like that and kicking. The head position actually kind of matters here. I think good. Let's just fix this little section right here. We'll bring this up into the training stage. We'll go from there. Then we'll get back to Adobe Animate for the rest of the stream. But again, normally we were able to draw, so I probably have to update this. All right. Since it has been a while since we actually did Aseprite work, what I normally do after I'm done with making Sprite is I bring it into my own training stage. Training stage is very important because it lets us see how sprites are on an X and Y axis. As soon as I bring it up, you'll actually see. Golden Sun, game assets, backgrounds, Golden Sun 1. Training stage. All right. So this red line right here represents the x-axis on Adobe Animate. This represents the y-axis. So let's bring up the sprites that we made. Yeah. So tonight we made wind up and wind up cape end. All right. This is fine because we get to see her normal. Then as soon as she kicks, we see the impact of the kick making her hair go and her jacket go. Putting more oomph on the kick now. Copy this. Make a new layer just in case. Perfect. So how it should work, put you right there. Now we get the next one. Copy this. Put this one right there. So to go from this to this, moving forward that way. Yeah, we're good. It could be a little bit more polished, but for some reason I don't have a pen tonight. Don't know. All right, so we did 2 new sprites. Now it's time to go back to Adobe Animate. But as I mentioned before, you have to be in the right state of mind for Aseprite, because sometimes things don't work. It's not as bad as this. Don't drink unless you're an adult. All right. Surprisingly enough, this loaded up very quickly. All right, so while I wait for that, I'm gonna go through my own personal stuff just to make sure I can do what I need to do. Go to send project, assets, miscellaneous. I wonder. No, that's fine. We're gonna need movement after dashing, so we're gonna wait for that to load up. This is what I was talking about before. For some odd reason, these FLA files, they take a while to load up as soon as you click on them, so you have to wait. So while we wait for that, I'm just going through my other effects just to see if I need anything here. Yep, I thought so. Energy. That does look pretty cool. That looks really cool, actually. I can use that for cutting edge. I could, which we're gonna do. Unfortunately, no, it's good. All right, let's just make sure there's nothing here I want to use. There's a reason why I'm having Isaac not doing Earth stuff, which we'll touch upon later on. I figured. This is fine. Okay. We need to get his attack end. So we're going to zoom out. Right there. And we're gonna put this right here. We'll give it like a couple of frames, at least 3 frames. Insert blank keyframe. And we're gonna paste what we just copied. We're gonna use we can use the arrow key. Well, first of all, we're turning on onioning so we can actually see his positioning. We're gonna have him move up a tad bit forward. From there, we're gonna grab the effect that I'm gonna use to make sure there's nothing else. There is not. Insert a blank keyframe right above Isaac. We're gonna bring this in. Zoom out. We're gonna have this cover at least the majority of the camera area. I think that should be good. We're gonna turn this into a graphic just to make sure. Yeah, gotta reduce this a little tiny bit. That should be good. Perfect. All right. So now we're gonna add a very slow tween to this. Insert keyframe. Obviously, there's nothing here because we haven't put tutorials there yet. time is it? Damn. Let's just make sure we have enough space. We do. So we'll do it right there. So as usual, we need a point A and a point B for a tween, so we can get this to move. If we don't put a tween there, it's gonna look stupid. It just teleports right there. It looks terrible. So right click anywhere in between point A and point B, create classic tween, and there you go. But we're gonna insert a camera so it follows it. Insert keyframe right where it ends, which is where Satoru's position is gonna be when we get to there tomorrow. Insert keyframe. We're gonna move the camera. Right now the camera's not on, unfortunately. If that happens, just turn it right back and on again, then you should be good. There we go. And Satoru's is gonna be right there. Same thing, create classic tween. Right click anywhere in between point A and point B, and there you go. So the camera should follow it. And Satoru's will block it right there. Perfect. Let's save it. Let's do a quick watch, then we'll start wrapping up tonight. These streams are relatively short because I gotta make time for my lore stuff, and I gotta make time to do this and sleep. So we're gonna try to balance it out, at least until that new lore video I gotta release comes out. But it's good. I gotta make sure I get some sleep, because if I wake up late, it's gonna be a bad day for me. And bad day for me means I probably won't be able to stream my work. It'll be a very long day. And these shorter streams are easy for people to follow, in my honest opinion. Long streams, they take a while. Like, I think the longest I ever streamed one of these Sprite animation videos, 4 hours. I don't know why I did it. I most certainly did do it. So 30 minutes, I feel, is like a ample amount of time for people just to sit back, relax, hear me yap, and see me do some diabolical stuff with these sprites. And there is a purpose, because remember, this is a darker reimagining of Golden Sun 1 and 2 story, fixing plot holes, but making it more adult-oriented, mature. I won't say not safe for work, but people have died. I think Bad Jenna has killed a couple of brigands and bandits here and there, because reasons. But yeah, we're pretty much fixing things that I felt needed to be fixed. Plot holes, characters getting little to no development, that type of stuff. Loose ends. And giving characters who I felt were terribly underutilized more time in the sun. It's just time in the sun. But we are still loosely following canon. But there are some time shenanigans happening right now. Multiverse theory is a bitch. But besides that, we have fun. We have fun. We like experimenting. Sometimes we have good days, sometimes we have bad days. But we usually get stuff done. But then the worst is when Adobe Animate destroyed an entire project. We were almost done with it. That was a bad day for me. But anyways, tonight we saw a situation where Aseprite, out of all things, decided it just didn't want to work. Which is pretty much just, I just have to probably update it, because I just saw it's at the latest version. So what happened was, for some odd reason, my pencil tool was replaced by the eraser tool, which sometimes that does happen. I don't know why, but it does happen. So we had to improvise. And usually it's Adobe Animate that screws up. Once we get back here, we have to have Garrett land somewhere off screen. Somewhere in the background. But we had to keep the odds fair 2v2. Their fight's over. They're just straight up just scrapping. Low health, no synergy. They're just going at it. Isaac and Satoru's are having a clash. Or they're going to have a clash, because they're the ones who are going to wrap up this Sprite animation. Well, at least this episode, because Mercury Lighthouse has to end. Mercury Lighthouse has to end so we get to the custom stuff. And determination is now over. How tragic. And now, speaking of underutilized, let's go. If it don't play. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We got underutilized the theme. And no items were harmed in the making of this. Perfect. Easy enough. So tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to put Satoru's Sprite over there. He'll block it, then they'll just continue duking it out for a while. I'll sleep on it. I'll figure out what the hell we're going to do, but we got 4,000 frames left. Let's make this good. But besides that, everybody else, enjoy the VOD as usual. Thanks for the constant support on this. You guys will make this project possible. If you have any questions, y'all know what to do. But besides that, enjoy the VOD, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.